The sky. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am knowing that on this morning, that is a new life, a new day, a new possibility, that we are gathered here in love to share that love with each other and to enjoy being in each other's company. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Princeton. Today we have Scott Allen, who's supplying our wonderful music today, his wonderful voice here. And we have a special guest this morning, Lori Carlson, a practitioner from our Morristown Center, who always brings incredible, applicable wisdom, lived wisdom. And so I'm looking forward to that. And I am also looking forward to whoever's going to speak, because I can't find that list.
Oh, you mean next week?
Next week. Yes.
Karen is next week.
Reverend Karen will be speaking next week.
And then Michelle.
And then Reverend Michelle. So we have forward, as we have been doing, it's a wonderful sort of demonstration for us. Every Sunday, we have a speaker here. We don't have a minister, but we have the wisdom of all of our practitioners and other ministers who come in here and share their wisdom. We're here for one reason. We are a loving, healing, and inclusive community which teaches and practices the principles of the science of mind for the well-being and spiritual growth of ourselves and the world. And that saying that we say here every week was created by all of us, right? Many of us who were here for a longer time, we were part of that process. We are a loving, healing community. And we would love you to be part of our loving and healing community. So come on down 345 River Road in Princeton. We would love you to be here. And for those of you who are online, we're really grateful that you're part of it. It would be very helpful to us if you would simply put a comment. You can just say hi, because Facebook doesn't give us the opportunity of seeing who's actually out there. So just put a comment, say hi, or share your heart with us. That way we know that you're here. So thanks again for being part of us.
In keeping with all of us gathered together in love. You fill up my senses like a night in the forest, like a mountain in springtime, like a walk in the rain, like a storm in the desert, like a sleepy blue ocean. You fill up my senses. Come fill me again. Come, let me love you. Let me give my life to you. Let me drown in your laughter. Let me die in your arms. Let me lay down beside you. let me always be with you. Come, let me love you. Come, love me again.
Thank you, Scott. That song always brings me to tears. My name is Susan Niedt. I'm a practitioner here today, and as practitioner of the day today, I'm going to lead you in a meditation from one of my favorite books, The Gift of Love, by Joel Goldsmith, which is dog-eared and written in just as much as this thing called You by Ernest Holmes. It's my go-to. It even has a chapter called A Wedding Talk. So if you know somebody that's getting married, it's just beautiful. So according to Joel, love is the ability to know that the divine is just as much your life as it is my life. Every truth that I know about me is the truth that I know about you, and that's how I love you, by knowing God's truth about you. In a way, that's namaste. I recognize your truth, and that is the truth of love. So let's find that space where we go into meditation by feeling comfortable and supported by our chair, relaxing our body, closing our eyes if that's available to us. And we start with our breath, because that breath is the breath of life, which is the breath of love. And so that means that love is fulfilling us, indwelling us as we breathe. So feel that love and know that you are love and that you brought your love here. And in fact, thank yourself for being that love and for loving yourself enough to be here or to be watching this recording. And as we love ourselves, we can love others. And we do. So as we're in this quiet space, I'm going to read the words of Joel Goldsmith in the first person so that you can take them as your own. My consciousness, which has in it nothing but love, is now a transparency through which God is flowing into this world. And because God cannot be limited in time or space or by walls, the realized presence of God in this room is flowing out of this room, up and down the street, across the nation and across all waters. I am an instrument and a transparency through which the divine love blesses mankind, friend and apparent foe. My consciousness does not condemn, nor does it seek vengeance, but it is forgiveness. Through my consciousness of love, the divine enters my home, my business, my nation, and this whole universe. I am open to love. I am a divine expression of love. And where there is love, there is no fear. Where there is love, there is the strength of the divine. Where there is love, what appears weak is made whole. And I am that I am. Therefore, I can claim that inheritance for myself and the world and beyond. I am love. I am love. And I see the love in everyone. And I see the love everywhere I go. So let's breathe that love one more time, knowing that we are in breaths of union with the divine. It's one breath, one life. And take a nice full breath and move your bodies around, and when you are ready, open your eyes, bringing yourself back into this space, this loving space. Namaste. Thank you for that. How do you like that? I was so into the moment of the meditation that I completely forgot my role as practitioner of the day to do a treatment here and now, the opening treatment. So let's find that beautiful, loving space again, which is so easy to slide into. And as we slide into that space of love, I speak these words for each one here, knowing that there is only one life, and that life is love in expression. And that life in its self-giving nature loves each one here into existence, that this divine love, this thing called you, this divine presence can experience each of us here in this time-space continuum as itself, in all of its perfection, in all of its loving glory, in all of its strength, in all of its power. So each one here lives into their divine inheritance and experiences and expresses all that God is right here, right now. And each one here is inspired by today's talk, by today's meditation, by today's music, and by the company of each one in today's space. And each one leaves here inspired and takes this love out into the world with grace and with ease and divine love. I know this is true because I spoke these words and I spoke them in this divine knowing, this place of love. I release it into the law that always and only says yes, and we all say together, and so it is. And I will say one more time, namaste.
Thank you.
Flawless light in a darkening air, alone and shining there. Love will not elude you, love is simple. I worship this tenacity and the beautiful struggle we're in. Love will not elude us, love is simple. Be sure to know that all in love is ours, that love as a philosophy is simple. I am calm in oblivion, calm as I ever have been. Love will not elude me, love is simple. Be sure to know that all in love is ours, that all in love is ours. And love as a philosophy is simple and ours.
And now, direct from the wilds of Morristown, New Jersey, the ever lovely, the ever energetic, the ever multi-talented Lori Carlson.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. It's great to be back here in Princeton. And I'm speaking to you. Thank you, Scott, for the beautiful music. Thank you, Susan, for the beautiful meditation. I'm speaking to you today about love. Because love is all there is, right? Seems like I'm always talking about love. Whatever we're talking about in this teaching, it comes back to love. And yesterday being Valentine's Day, I'm not talking about that kind of love, but it just brings to our awareness how much the world is focused on the love outside of us, right? The Hallmark love, the love that's represented by receiving gifts or getting flowers, a lot of you know that my boyfriend and partner of many years passed away in 2024, so I didn't get flowers or candy or anything, but I take a line from Miley Cyrus, I can buy myself flowers. And I do that today from a consciousness that is different. Sorry, the camera's there, but you guys are all over here, so I'm going to be turning this way a lot, I think. Anyway, I do that today from a consciousness that love is not something I feel. It is not something I search for. It is not something I fall into. It is who I am. Like Susan said in that beautiful meditation, it is the true essence of my being, right? That's what we believe in this teaching. We are all one with that infinite source of love that is ever expressing in, as, and through us. And what a different way of approaching life that is. Not looking for something out there to be loved, to be fulfilling, to fill that hole inside of us, but to recognize that it comes from within. It is already always there. Ernest Holmes says, love is within us. It cannot be destroyed. It can be ignored. And to the extent that we abandon love, we will feel it has abandoned us. So how often do you ignore the love that you are? How often do you look outside yourself for that love and think that you need something else to fulfill you, to bring that in? Well, I believe, and I have come to learn, because I did not always believe this, that love is something that grows. It is something I cultivate. It is the truth of who I am, but it is something that needs to be nourished. And it is something that grows with my attention to it, right? We say, where you put your attention, energy flows. So when I put my attention to the love that I am, to the fact that love is ever present within me, then that grows. And that allows me to demonstrate that in greater and greater ways in the world. And that's not a difficult concept to understand, but it is sometimes a difficult thing to live. Especially in this world in which we live, right? It's difficult sometimes to look around and remember that it's always a point of choice. It is always a choice of whether you are going to turn to the love within and show up as that love. I love this quote by Niedt. Love is power, the purest power and the greatest power. Love is God. Nothing can be higher than that. This power is the very source of creation. This power is creativity. And this power will transform you totally into a new being. So who wants to be transformed? Who wants to recognize the transformation that is really just an allowing of your own inherent nature? Because we are already love. I was going to set this timer so that I stay with it, because I can talk about love all day. But so it's really just the transformation is in the awareness of who and what we really are. I was just recently blessed to be interviewed on a show on New Thought Media Network called And So It Is, Stories of Truth, Transformation, and Triumph. And the reason why I was being interviewed is because I have undergone a huge transformation in my life. I think most of you are familiar because I used to be a drug addict. And for very, very many years, that was my story. That was my life. And that was who I thought I'd always be. I thought that was going to be how I lived and how I died. I didn't see any other option. So I am so blessed because I came into recovery. I came into this teaching. I found a spiritual journey, and I found out, oh my goodness, the transformation is within. I am already love. All I had to do was recognize it and allow it and invite growth around it. And that being of love that is in me was always there. It was just neglected. It was just forgotten. It was just not acknowledged. And how many of us do that, right? How many of us don't pay attention to that part of us that is love, that wants to be loved, that wants to be acknowledged? So that was the transformative thing for me, to really acknowledge in this teaching that that is my true nature, and that love is always a choice. Love is that not something that you do, but it is something that you are, but it is a choice to express it. It is a choice to demonstrate it. That is always your choice. And it always comes back down to the understanding that you are love, but you get to choose how you demonstrate it. Rupert Spira, and this goes right with the meditation too, says, love is the recognition of our shared being, right? So whenever we're talking about oneness, we're talking about the love that is within each. It is the recognition that we are all part of that one, right? There is no other. He also goes on to say, where is it? Love is the experience that others are not others. Well, look, that is really hard for me. In this day and age, in this world in which we live, to live. I mean, it's a concept, it's a spiritual concept that I understand, but to really live from that place where I recognize that the people I don't agree with, the things I see going on in the world, that they are not other. They too are part of this divinity. They too are part of this oneness of love. That is difficult. But when we believe that, we have to come back again and again to that understanding, because love doesn't wait for conditions to be perfect. Love doesn't depend on getting a card or flowers or a rainbow or a beautiful day or everybody agreeing with you or circumstances that are, uplifting. Love is always within you, and it is your job as a person on a spiritual journey to connect with that love. To connect with that love and to demonstrate that love. To come from a place of love, even and especially when it's the most difficult. And there are lots of ways that demonstrates in our lives. A lot of it is just an awareness and a choice. So yesterday I was blessed, a part of my job, I got to take a group to the planetarium. Anybody ever been to a planetarium? I love planetariums. It's like, the immensity of the sky, the vastness of the universe. And it used to make me feel very small and meaningless and inconsequential compared to this ever-expanding universe in which we live, right? Well, let me tell you something. I had an interesting experience yesterday because I was thinking about this talk, and because I'm in this teaching, and because I really do believe the things that I'm saying, I had a different experience. I looked at those same exploding stars and that same immenseness of the galaxy, and I recognize that I am very tiny compared to that, but I didn't feel insignificant. I didn't feel meaningless. I felt a part of. I was like, I too am this stardust. I am part of this immense, creative, expanding universe. And how magnificent is that? And how great is it to know that the creative energy that created all of this and is always creating all of this, created me. And I must, therefore, express that to the best of my ability in every way, to show that I acknowledge this magnificence. And how do I do that? By remembering my true nature, by going back again and again to the love that I am, to the core, this creative energy that we call spirit, source, God, love, whatever you want to call it, that created everything and me. It needs me to remember it. Ernest Holmes says, let me find my quote on here. Ernest Holmes says, love is the self-givingness of spirit through the desire of life to express itself. The desire of life to express itself. Well, I felt that in the planetarium, in the exploding stars and the black holes, I felt that desire of life to express itself. But I also felt it in me. I felt it as the ability to show up for these people that I got to bring there, a bunch of people in recovery. I felt it in my ability to do little random acts of kindness. So I'm going to be talking about how you can show up as love. And one of the ways I got to do that yesterday was I had been to a workshop where we made homemade Valentine's Day cards. And yesterday I went to Staples to print out my quotes and stuff, and I brought a card to the woman who works there because she had really helped me when I was doing this workshop and I couldn't find the things I needed. She was very kind and helped me. So I thought, oh, I'm going to bring her a Valentine's Day card. Do you know she cried? She said, I have not gotten a Valentine's card in over 30 years. And she cried. And I was like, oh my God, this was just like a momentary thought for me. Oh, I think I'll bring her a card. And it made that kind of impact. Well, that's showing up as love. That is one of the ways that we can show up with little actions, little choices every moment. And I'm going to go into some of those in a minute, but first I have another story. So anybody here familiar with Teilhard de Chardin? Yes, okay. So I grew up in my house where I grew up. My parents had a basement, a finished basement, which was our toy room, right? That's where we played. That's where all the kids went. And on the wall, of course I'm dating myself, there was a psychedelic poster of Teilhard de Chardin that said this quote: someday, after mastering the winds, the waves, the tides, and gravity, we shall harness for God the energies of love. And then, for a second time in the history of the world, man will have discovered fire. Well, let me tell you, I didn't understand what the hell that meant when I was a kid. I just thought it was on this psychedelic poster. I thought it sounded poetic. I thought it sounded scientific. Like, I love the big words for me, harnessing. I was like, okay, this is really cool. And it was a kind of cool looking poster. But I saw that over and over. I mean, I must have read it hundreds and hundreds of times as I was growing up. So what do we know in this teaching, right? It plants a seed. And so I was always like, what is this harnessing the power of love? Well, today I get to choose to do that, right? We get to choose to harness the creative energy that we know love is. We get to do that in every little way that we choose. We make a choice to show up for others. And it can look like all kinds of ways. I believe that love does not demand a huge demonstration, does not demand a huge commitment. What it demands is an awareness and a consistency and a showing up and a willingness to engage with others from a heart of love. So it doesn't mean that you don't draw boundaries. You do. You just do it from a place of love. It doesn't mean that you enable or that you accept harmful behavior or that you excuse the things that you don't agree with that are going on. It doesn't mean any of that. It doesn't mean we spiritually bypass and go, la, 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 everything's love, so everything's good. No, it doesn't mean any of that. It means we come from a heart of love. We harness that creative energy of spirit that exists within us. And that takes deep awareness. That takes an understanding that that's truly who we are. It takes this teaching, right? It takes doing the study, doing the practices. If you have ever been to Morristown, you will know that they say Lori's mantra, daily practices. It takes doing the things over and over and over that allow you to remember who you are, to remember that you are love, so that you can show up as love. Mother Teresa, I love quotes. Mother Teresa says, none of us, including me, ever do great things. I don't know, I might debate that, but we can all do small things with great love. We can all do small things with great love. And for me, that is how you show up as love. Whether it's as simple as returning the grocery cart at in the parking lot, right? Or picking up trash when you walk past it. Or being kind to a stranger, giving a compliment. Oh my God, you ever see somebody's face light up when you just say, oh my gosh, you look so wonderful today. Or I love that hat. Or, it's like I might think it, and, in past, I wouldn't say it because it'd be like, oh, who wants to, I don't want to engage with this person. Now I make a point of saying it, and it always gets a good response. I have never, and I hate to use those words always and never, but I actually, in my own experience, have never had someone not brighten up at a compliment offered. Maybe people do, but I have not experienced that. Sometimes it can be, showing up as love can be as simple as letting someone in front of you in traffic, right? Or it can be recognizing the person behind the behavior. Somebody acts in a way you don't like, you separate the person from the behavior. Yeah, I don't like this behavior, but I can still love this person. Sometimes it means practicing patience. Sometimes it means speaking kindly, even to yourself. I think I've shared here before that I have that Bertha voice. I call that voice in my head Bertha. And that voice can be sometimes very loud. And sometimes the greatest way I can show up as love is to simply try to quiet that voice of self-criticism that's in my own head. Sometimes it means making a phone call to someone who you haven't heard from in a while, someone who might be alone. Sometimes it means taking that phone call when you really don't want to, and that happens to me a lot. I'm a sponsor, I'm a peer, I'm a practitioner, and there's like just last night, I was like, I'm working on my talk, I want to go to bed early, phone rings. I'm like, oh, God, I really don't feel like having this conversation because I know this person is going to complain and, whine and whatever. And I said, okay, Lori, wait, what are you talking about tomorrow? Showing up as love. And one of the ways that I show up as love is listening to people. That is, as a peer, as a practitioner, as a sponsor, listening, picking up the phone, being a safe space. That's one of the greatest ways that I can show up as love. And so, I walked the dog and I picked up the phone in my pajamas, in bed, and I listened. Because that's sometimes all we need to do. And sometimes it means not saying anything, right? For me, very often showing up as love means shutting up. Means allowing someone to say what they need to say without trying to fix it. Without trying to control or manage or give a solution. It means just being a safe space. And a lot of times, it means simply pausing, right? That amazing spiritual practice of the pause. Because the pause allows us the opportunity to remember that we want to show up as love. It allows us the opportunity to not react, but to respond. And to respond from that place of love. So one of the greatest questions that I always ask myself whenever I'm challenged or whenever I'm going through my day, what would love have me do? How would love show up? What would love say? Maybe love would say nothing. What would love have me do? And if you ask yourself that and you truly listen for the answer, because a lot of times, I don't know about you, but a lot of times I'll be like, oh yeah, well, this is loving, but taking that pause, asking that question, and then allowing yourself to hear the answer. Ernest Holmes taught, love points the way and law makes the way possible. So what are you pointing at? What is your expression of love pointing at that you're demonstrating through law? Right? Like I said, it doesn't mean that you accept everything the way it is. Tonight I'm going to Singing for the Resistance. So that's what speaks to me. If it doesn't, I'm not saying anybody has to do anything. You speak to what speaks to you. You do what is yours to do. But you do it from a place of love, not from a place of othering. Mark Nepo says, doing small things with love is the atom of bravery. Doing small things with love is the atom of bravery. And I think in this world that we live, it's really more true than ever. Maybe it's always been true, but it feels very true right now that it takes courage to do those small things with love. It takes courage not to resort to otherness. It takes courage to be open and willing to listen instead of turning into immediately going into conflict. Because that is the expression of love. That is how you show up as love. In all those little ways, we remember that it is the very ground of our being. And it's not something outside you. It's not something you buy or order online. It's not someone you meet. It's not something that you're searching for. It's who you are and how you choose to show up. So it always comes back to conscious awareness and choice, right? I feel like every talk I give, I'm always saying the same thing because that's what it always comes down to. That is the important thing to remember. What would love say? What would love do? And I am that love. Like Susan's meditation so beautifully said, I am that love, but how do I choose to express it? Mother Teresa also said, spread love everywhere you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving feeling happier. Oh my goodness. I want to be that. I want to be that person. I want to be that one that everybody feels happier after they leave me. I mean, I don't think I do it very well, but I aim for that, right? I aim for that because I intend that. I want to uplift. I want to be an expression of love that uplifts. Sometimes that means listening to people while they are upset and complain about the things in the world that they don't like. Sometimes it means, having a conversation and a dialogue, and a lot of times it simply means staying in my own lane. But whatever it is, I do it from a recognition of love. I do it from the understanding that, this is an opportunity to show up as love. As much as I want to just roll over and go to bed, picking up the phone is an opportunity to show up as love. As much as I might not want to interact with this person and hear what they have to say, doing so is an opportunity to be an expression of love. And that love, we believe, right, in the ripple effect, right? We believe in one mind, we believe that what we put out goes out and affects everyone, right? It creates a ripple. So every little small choice you make, every little small decision to turn up as love, whether it's returning your grocery cart or smiling at somebody, it goes out into the world and creates more of the same, right? Martin Luther King said, hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. And Bad Bunny said, the only thing more powerful than hate is love. So we, as people in this teaching and as people on a spiritual journey, we get to use that power. We get to remember who we are and show up as love in all the small ways that ripple out into the world to create that world that works for everyone. That CSL always talks about, right? That's who we are and that's what we get to choose. So I'm going to invite all of you to make a choice right here, right now, to choose one small thing you can do today to show up as a greater expression of love. Whatever that is for you, just choose something and make a commitment right here that you are going to do that. Together, we can change the world, right? And we get to do that today. So, I am going to close with a quote by Ralph Waldo Trine. This is one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. The life that goes out in love to all life is the life that is full and rich and continually expanding in beauty and in power. That is the life I want. Is that the life you want? And are you willing to do what it takes to show up as love? Are you willing to make a commitment to that consciousness, to that awareness that will allow you to show up as love for others? I hope so. Thank you.
I think we can all agree that our beloved Lori does indeed have that gift of making us leave happier
Yeah.
because she was with us. She is bubbly, she is kind, she is love. I'm sorry, she is my prayer partner and I am blessed. Sometimes our effusiveness together gets us a little reacting out. Woo! But anyway, I am blessed. So I was guided this morning as I was reading The Gift of Love to begin our gratitude ritual with a little meditation. So here we go. Let's find that spot where we are sitting in that loving presence and gratitude for the happiness that we feel after listening to our gift, Lori, our wonderful practitioner from Morristown. And as we sit in this quiet again, we breathe. We always start with that breath of life. And so today we say, in the quiet wisdom of divine love, I remember that giving and receiving are not opposites. They are partners in a sacred flow. I know that what I circulate with love returns multiplied in both form and blessing. And I know when I give freely, I affirm that the source within me, around me, and through me is abundant, inexhaustible, and ever renewing. This love and gratitude offering is more than a gift. It is a declaration that I trust life to move through me and back to me in perfect measure. As I share today, my heart is open to the joy of not just giving, but also graciously receiving. And now as I open my eyes, I see with gratitude and I see with love. And as I open my eyes, I give with gratitude and I give with love.
I believe for every drop of rain that falls, a flower grows. I believe that somewhere in the darkest night, a candle glows. I believe for everyone who goes astray, someone will come to show the way. I believe. I believe above a storm, the smallest prayer will still be heard. I believe that someone in the great somewhere hears every word. Every time I hear a newborn baby cry, or touch a leaf, or see the sky, then I know why.
Virtual land that we can donate online via cslprinceton.org with PayPal, Visa, or mail it. So thank you all. And now our beloved Lori will do our closing statement.
So I invite you all to close your eyes if you're comfortable to doing so, and to hear these words as if they were your own. Because as we are all one and we are all love, they actually are. And so right here, right now, in this consciousness of love, in this consciousness of the one presence and power that demonstrates itself in, as, and through each of us, I know this truth. I know that love is at the very core of my being as it is in each one. I know that we are each expressions of this love. And I know that we get to show up in this bounty of creative energy, of love. We get to harness this energy and bring it out into the world for the good and greater good of everyone. This is who and what we are, and this is what we affirm right here, right now, together. That we go forth into this day uplifted, empowered, and supported by our time here together, to show up as greater expressions of that one divine love, that one expanding universe of love of which we are all a part. We show up that way today in every little choice, in every word we speak. I know that as I return again and again to asking myself, what would love say? What would love do? That I bring forth that energy into the world, and so it is for each one. And so with deep gratitude for this beautiful teaching, for this oneness of love that we are all a part of, for the ability to harness that energy and create a greater world for everyone by our conscious awareness of who and what we are, I say thank you. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, love. Thank you, community. Thank you, CSL Princeton. Thank you to everyone here and listening, and to all beings everywhere, coming with gratitude and grace, acknowledging love in every moment. We simply release this power and presence, this creative energy into that ever-present law that does unto us as we believe. And as I believe very much in the power of love, I know that it is already going forth to manifest in greater and greater ways. And so, together, we affirm that truth by saying, and so it is.
Amen.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
All we need is love.
All you need is love. All you need is love.